We appreciate that as well. And also, the tireless concern for other people, that fuels our next storyteller as well. She represents Hip Hop into Learning. This is a nonprofit that was built on the belief that young people's voices should never be silenced, that culture is a doorway, not a distraction, and that music can turn trauma into art, resilience, and possibility. This community leader, she co-founded this organization, and she knows how it feels to be a young person whose voice is buried, and she decided to make it her mission to help more young people be heard. Please welcome Nyree Clayton Taylor.
Crimson, vermilion, amber, flames, gold, topaz, centrines of sparkling haze, marigold and tangerines all in a blaze. I loved fire, y'all. I loved fire. A lot. Especially the lighting of a match and how the smell of it and its purpose is only to ignite and to consume its own shaft. And I promise you, that's what I was doing on the 4th of July when my room caught on fire. But 6-year-old me had a plan. I was an expert. I was an expert in fire and in blowing out matches. And understanding that the flames before me couldn't possibly be blown out by the 6-year-old body, I knew something that could. So I ran to the TV room, grabbed the fan, came back, plugged it up, turned the fan towards the fire, and whoo, I was surrounded by hellfire. And today I stand here, Scout's honor, and I promise you, I was not playing with the fireworks I had snuck in my room the night before. I had more sense than that. I knew not to do that. I know some of you are probably wondering, why fire? Well, the answer is simple. Fire is trauma. And I did not have the words to explain the trauma inside me. I didn't have the words to explain that I was one of the 1 in 4 girls who were sexually abused before the age of 18. And my body was reacting a lot like that match, consuming its own shaft. Until I heard her on the radio. How many of you remember hearing your very first favorite song as a young adult? Yeah, I know. Whew. I heard her. Help me out a little bit. I'm Roxanne, the Lady Devastator. I make you feel hotter than it is in Grenada. The Roxanne. Roxanne is who I be. Good job. Roxanne is who I be. Oh my goodness. She knew who she was. I wanted to be her. Her fire wasn't like mine. It was fierce and controlled. Now I can stand here and tell you I don't know what a lady devastator is, but I knew I wanted to be one. And I also did not know how hot Grenada was, but I know I wanted to be Roxanne. So the next day, with tape recorder in hand, I waited at the radio, heard the song, punched record, and I had it. I listened to that song over and over and over and over and over again. I'm sorry, Granny. I just listened to it over again. And you know what? Something happened. started memorizing her words. And not only was I memorizing her words, I was writing her words. And then I started reading her words. I don't think I made it really clear. I was labeled with a learning disability. It was called LD when I was younger. And not only was I LD, but I was reading 2 to 3 grade levels behind. And I was starting to read. But not just reading, I was becoming a writer. I was writing affirmations. But let me tell you what Roxanne did for me, what that music did for me. Just like trauma rewires the brain, music also rewires the brain. And Roxanne pulled me through the fire. Now, she didn't get rid of the fire because trauma is always there. You can't get rid of the fire, but she pulled me through the fire. And I was able to walk through it. And so, a teenage mother going to college, why? A teenage mother with the audacity to go to college ended up being the first in her family to graduate from Kentucky State University. The child that was always in trouble, could not read, ended up becoming a teacher. And not only a teacher, but I became the 2019 Kentucky Elementary Teacher of the Year. There are 30 million students who suffer from trauma. And only 46% of 4th graders can read on grade level. I see them. I was one of them. And I see them just like I see the students that we are able to work with every day. When I see Miss D'Angela, who fought through her disability to talk to Mary Fisher and to also talk to Ja'Cory Arthur and tell them why the Crown Act needed to be passed, she did that. When Genesis, she's here somewhere, when you're watching television and you happen to watch C-SPAN and you see a young lady sitting on a panel at the Department of Justice talking about art and how it was important in the sense of passing Brown versus the Board of Education, that is Genesis Hatchett, and I see myself in her as well. At Hip Hop Into Learning, we believe students who belong lead now. And I'm happy to share that platform with my wonderful husband, Antonio Taylor. I don't know where he is. He's somewhere in here. Where is he? Okay. But today, I stand here for all the women who are part of the 1 in 4. And I also stand here to let you know that, yes, I am a lady devastator. As the kids say, eat it up, eat it up. I'm a lady devastator, yes. But I stand here to let you know that while trauma doesn't disappear, it can be rewired. And I am Nyree Clayton Taylor, the lady devastator. And I have to tell you that I am the fire. Thank you very much.
Nyree Clayton Taylor.